Hi, this is A Swede Speaks, and today is February 7th, 2017. I would like to talk a little about Sweden. Again, there's a lot of things going on in Sweden. And the Swedish Prime Minister, Mr. Stefan Löfven, is now rhetorically moving himself to the right. He's trying to make his policies resemble those of the Sweden Democrats. Of course, without admitting it publicly. But I spoke earlier about how he talked about they had to stop the migrant flow from Libya over the Mediterranean Sea, and now he wants to become tough on crime. Obviously, he has realized that of the male trade union members in Sweden, the Sweden Democrats is the largest party. A little like when working class Americans vote for Donald Trump. Nothing strange about this. These people are fed up, and they don't want any more. They don't want any more craziness from the government, and they are changing their party loyalties if that's what's needed. Anyway, what Prime Minister Löfven recently said is that organized crime is taking over parts of cities in Sweden. So he's talking the talk. However, so far there has been no propositions from the Swedish government about what to do about it. But let's see what he said. Among the things he says that we need new initiatives to strengthen rule of law. We do not accept in our societal structure that we have organized crime taking over certain neighborhoods or parts of cities. And he also said, when it comes to organized crime, it is of a completely different kind than it was a few decades ago. He also says that stricter punishments for criminals is necessary. Do I need to add that I agree with all of this rhetoric? No problems. I just hope that he goes from words to action. But let's move on. He said, our solution is both being tough on crime, but equally clear is that if we are going to solve this in the long run, we need a society that holds together. Aha. To me, this sounds like he is starting to realize that identity politics is not really a good idea. But I could be wrong. This could be my interpretation. What we could think about, or what I am thinking about, is the Swedish government as of today consists of the Social Democrat Party, of which Stefan Löfven belongs, and the Green Party. They are supported in parliament by the Left Party. And then there has been a silent agreement. First there was an open agreement that the opposition would not vote against the government, which made the Sweden Democrats the only real opposition party. That agreement officially fell, but the opposition parties, except for the Sweden Democrats, have been acting like the agreement was still in place. But what is happening now? What will the Green Party think about this? About this new rhetoric from the Swedish Prime Minister? There's no way they're gonna like this. And the Left Party, I mean, these two parties are full of people that don't want to see the reality for what it is. People who cannot take in the facts, who can't see that there is problems with organized crime in Sweden. And there's problems with the no-go zones. As I said in an earlier clip, about 55 no-go zones in Sweden. No-go zone does not mean that you get killed if you go in there. It doesn't even mean that you necessarily get raped or robbed. But it means that it's no longer the Swedish police who's in charge there. It's the gangs who rule. And you should be careful going in there, for instance, at night, because you never know. And if something happens there, if there are riots, and there are riots, if someone puts fire, makes cars start burning, and that happens, you cannot expect government to be in control. You cannot expect the police or the firefighters to come. Or, well, they might come. Yeah, sure, they'll come. And they'll get stopped by people standing in their way, throwing rocks at them. Sometimes these people don't even understand Swedish, and sometimes they do, but yeah. And we could also ask, yeah, the Greens and the left part, they're not gonna like this. How about the Swedish Secretary of Home Affairs, Mr. Anders Ygeman, who also is a social democrat? I mean, Mr. Löfven doesn't actually say that Mr. Ygeman hasn't done his job, but it does sound like that's what he's saying between the lines, although not on the lines. And what about the National Police Commissioner, Dan Eliasson? What about him? The guy who just wants to silence everything, to sweep it under a rug. I mean, Sweden is in a lot of problems, and I just hope they can figure this out. And I hope that the Swedish government can fix this, that they can work with the opposition parties, with the Sweden Democrats, with conservatives, or I mean the so-called conservatives. I do not consider them conservatives, with whoever would like to fix this. Although I don't expect any miracles to happen in Sweden. Oh, I am praying for them. Be assured of that. I am praying for miracles in Sweden. And that could happen, if God wants. But I am not expecting any miracles in Sweden. Also, I'd like to mention that the night before yesterday, a bomb went off in the company car belonging to a Swedish police commissioner north of Stockholm. Although nobody was harmed, this was clearly someone trying to make a statement. I don't think they must have known who had that car. And the police commissioner belonged to the Uppsala police, at least according to the article I read. And the Uppsala police had been helping out with fighting organized crime north of Stockholm. And I guess this is a way of saying that they should keep out. So, what could you propose? What is your opinion? I mean, I propose, for instance, last summer when I was in Uppsala on vacation, and there were riots there. And when the firefighters came with their cars, they were stopped by rioters who stood in their way, holding up rocks and refused to move, who blocked the way. And I know this is going to sound tough, but my proposition is simple. If someone stands in the way of a firefighter or of a police car and refuses to remove themselves, even if they are warned and told to leave, run over them. You don't have to do that many times before they stop standing in the way. And seriously, I'm sorry, but that's what you got to do. Because they have to make sure that that police and firefighters get the respect they deserve. And apart from that, there should be sentences for obstructing justice or for or for standing in the way of a firefighter who are there to put out a fire. Seriously. I cannot see any other way to stop this. And most of the people here, not all, but most of the people here are first and second generation non-Western immigrants. And as politically incorrect as it is to mention this, these people have a different mentality than Swedes. Swedes always want to cooperate. Swedes think that everything can be solved if you just sit at the table, have some coffee, and talk about things. It's a consensus culture. Maybe the most consensus-oriented culture in the world. At least one of the top 10, no doubt about it. Well, a lot of these people come from countries where you have confrontation, and you don't depend in any way on government. You depend on your clan. And I mean, to them, things like the dialogue police in Sweden, who are going to talk people out of doing bad stuff, that's just considered weakness. No one respects that. So, seriously, Sweden needs to shape up, and that needs to happen fast. And if you like this video, if you like my channel, then please like, share, comment, and you can support my channel through Patreon. If you get $1, if you get $10, if you get $1 million, I'll take it, no problems. But anyway, this is a Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.